everybody, and big welcome to a deck tech video of Mono Black Krick, son of Yawgmoth. Today with us we have an expert on the topic, Cantrell. That almost sounds like son Yawgmoth. Hi there, welcome.
Thank you Mons, for having me here. It's a pleasure.
So why Krick? Like, why Mono Black?
Having a mono black deck lets me to play most of the tutors. Tutors are a very important part of cEDH. It's what it glues the deck together. And when I saw you can pay for X mana for them, I couldn't resist.
Yeah, a lot of stuff suddenly gets like free to cast or like pay life to cast, so suddenly with this guy.
Well, Carrick is this mono black creature 2/2 with lifelink, so it can support itself by casting the spells. Your starting life is 40 points, so you have mostly like, I don't know, 15 free mana out of him. He's a big mana rock.
Yeah, yeah.
I really like the lore of this creature. I really like the design. You can see he's a colorless commander. You can just pay 4 mana and just skip the 3 blacks. The flexibility it gives you is huge. It's almost overwhelming the kind of things you can do with this deck. Okay, so when the first time he came out, most of the people were playing around with Doomsday because Doomsday is such a strong card. But I thought, well, I like stacks decks, I like more controlling decks, so I thought I'm not giving away the game through a single spell like Doomsday. Most of the Doomsday list, they were playing like very narrow cards, some cantrips, and I didn't enjoy that. So I built a more controlling deck. That was the initial phase of my deck.
So looking at your deck list, this is what we have. You are correct, you don't have Doomsday in your list.
No, I never use it. When Carry came out, most of the people thought that he needed to be a turbo deck with Doomsday engines, and I didn't like that. So I built something else with more reanimation and more value spells, more control. Yeah.
Grey Merchant here. That's amazing. He's like a ritual for you because like gaining life means more mana.
Yeah, well, Great Merchant of Asphodel, he's one of the win conditions of the deck. The win conditions of the deck are mostly 3. You can win through Great Merchant of Asphodel by looping it, or you can win through either Flux Reservoir. And the third win condition is Pestilence.
Pestilence? That's a control card. That's a board wipe.
Yeah.
So Pestilence is an old enchantment that reads, pay 1 black mana, which means you can just pay to life instead of paying the black mana, deal 1 damage to each creature and 1 damage to each player. But you have to sacrifice Pestilence if there are no creatures in play. But then again, Krick might survive. But how do you win with that?
Well, usually when I say a win condition is the card that can lead the players at 0 lives. So usually what I do with Pestilence, I can be controlling the board and leaving my opponents on reach.
But you have to gain life yourself to like, because everyone is losing life to Pestilence, even you. So you have to gain life somehow.
Yeah, a lot of times the game, the longer it goes, I can start gaining lives with Great Merchant of Asphodels. For example, if you gain lives with either Flux, but there is a null rod effect, I can just dump Pestilence and pay 120 life and beat my opponents.
That works. That's actually true. If you just have enough life, Pestilence will do the job.
Usually in my deck, since it's a mono black deck, I cannot get rid of null rod effects. And usually null rod effects comes with Torpor Orbs or comes with, I don't know, with Rule of Law and some other stuff. They glue together in the stack shelves. So it hasn't been too crazy that I cannot activate my either Flux, and sometimes my Great Merchant of Asphodel has been exiled. So the third win condition itself is Pestilence.
I mean, Krick has lifelink, and as this is something of a control deck, you're putting counters on it and you just attack, and Krick can kind of climb you up there a bit, I guess.
Well, this deck is a turbo deck that it has a mini package for the mid-range games. So I will try to do a win attempt on the early game, but if something goes wrong, I still have engines or ways to stall the game. For example, I can try to land Carrick on turn 1, turn 2, and maybe I can do a turn 1 or turn 2 win attempt, but a lot of answers will stop that attempt. Even a single Flusterstorm or maybe a Pact to Exile or whatever can stop the win attempt. So what I try to achieve with this deck is to do an early win attempt, and if that fails, I can keep it up in the game. That's why I try to have some other ways to win without Carrick. I have at least 2 or 3 ways to win without it. I play plenty of lands. I try to play some other draw engines.
Ooh, you have 34 lands in this deck. That's a lot.
Yeah. I love lands. They're free resources.
Yes, I agree. I play land archetypes whenever I have the chance, actually.
34 lands, and I have at least half of the deck is mana sources. It's 34 lands and a lot of rituals.
So basically, you've built your deck more resilient, adding more lands, adding more control cards, adding more combo options, just so you can stay alive in a game where you're usually interacted with. I like that.
There are different ways to attack your problems. So when I started playing this deck, my first problem it was Gilded Drake. I was getting, well, most of my combos they relies on the commander, so I was getting Carrick stolen every single time. So I added six spot removals that are free to cast when Carrick's on play.
Snuff Out, Deadly Relic, Dismember, Victim of the Night, Grasp of Darkness. Yeah, you have a bunch.
And then I added a Homeward Path, so I have 7 answers for that. Then the next problem I was having, it was people getting my Carrick bounced and start attacking me because they know that life is my resource, right? So I thought, okay, so if people are attacking me, they're investing mana for their attackers, they're investing mana in hate bears, they're investing turns in attacking me. So playing cards like the Mikul Massacre or Pestilence, it will delay. It's a tempo play because I will delay their game plan, but also I start saving lives for myself. I will keep up my life points higher if I play board wipes. So it's a way to preserve my game status.
You know, when you hear someone explaining their deck like this, I have problems and I've solved problems by adding these cards. You know that the person have played the deck quite a lot.
Yeah, for example, you can see I play Leyline of the Void.
Yeah,
the card does nothing for me because it doesn't add anything to my strategy. But I tell people, hey, cEDH is a one game, there's only one winner, and you need to play sideboard cards. You need to play sideboard cards because you don't have a second chance. So as a mono black deck, I cannot deal much with, I don't know, a super common strategy like Underworld Bridge. So if I give up just one slot, because it's free, it's just one slot, I can add Leyline of the Void and it will give me, it's a free spell, it gives me devotion for my Great Mercanus Asphodel or Nykthos. People now, they need to spend a tutor to get rid of it. Spending a tutor on that, they don't have many resources, so spending a tutor for a removal, it means it will delay them 1-2 turns, and after that they need to have another tutor to find their win condition. Probably they didn't develop their graveyard like they should. So I think Leyline of the Void has been a great card for me to stay alive in some games. It's a tempo card.
I love it. I absolutely agree with you. The only thing I have to say here is that it's sad that it's not a card that could be utilized for you as well. When I look at Stacks cards, I want them to do something for my strategy as well. For a great example here is Scavenging Ooze, a creature that can gain life and be an attacker for Tymna. So Tymna can draw cards with the Scavenging Ooze, so to say. Sadly here, Leyline of the Void can't do that, but I actually agree with you here. I think Leyline of the Void is a spot-on card considering the meta. Underworld Breach is very popular. This is definitely a colorless deck because you don't need black mana at all in this deck. I mean, Krick is 4 colorless mana and 6 life, and then everything is just life. So what do you think of adding more utility lands? For example, a War Room. That's a land that could draw cards for you. What do you think? Could that... I mean, you don't need to have this many basic swamps, or what do you think?
Okay, so there are 2 ways to build your mana base for Carrick. You can create non-basic mana base. It's just fine. People do that. You can run that mana base and take advantage of every single utility land you want. For example, you can play a Cabal Pit, which is a free removal.
Yep, I love that one.
Yeah, but the the most important land in this deck that it gives you a lot of value is Lake of the Dead.
Yeah.
Lake of the Dead requires a lot of basic lands because this card is not a turn 1 land. So out of my 34 lands, I'm already at 33 for my first turn, right? Because you cannot play Lake of the Dead on turn 1. So it's a turn 2 land. And when you get the most value out of it is on turn 3, but you need at least 2 basic lands before, on turn 1 and on turn 2. Another land that I play that is not a turn 1, neither a turn 2 land is a Scorched Ruins. So out of my 34 lands, I'm already at 32. Another land that I usually don't play on turn 1 is City of Traders. So I'm already at 31 turn 1 lands. So about the basic lands, you have a lot of turn 1 plays, and one of the most important turn 1 play is Imperial Seal. Imperial Seal or Vampiric Tutor will let you to find Mana Crypt for a turn 2 Carrick. Also, a Swamp will let you to play Ulcerate, for example, to get rid of a Drying Magistrate. I really like the idea of playing a higher count of swamps. If you see, right now I'm playing 14 swamps plus 5 fetch lands and Urborg. So it's almost 20 swamps for my Lake of the Dead. Lake of the Dead requires a lot of fuel, and I can tell you how many times I have Lake of the Dead in my hand and I don't have a swamp in play. So I even think that 14 plus 5 Fetlands and Urborg is a little bit low for a consistent Lake of the Dead.
What do you think about Tarnished Citadel? I'm guessing it's there because of Praetor's Grasp.
Yeah, since I'm a mono black deck, I try to give value to some cards or some specific situations. After some years playing this deck, I started running into some situations that I thought, okay, I just did Predator's Grasp, and well, the first time I did something amazing with it, I cast Predator's Grasp, and I was facing Curse Totem, a Resin Piece, and a lot of little Staxi pieces. So I did Predator's Grasp.
Cooling
I
Ritual?
get a green mana out of my Prismatic
Cooling Ritual?
Lens. Yeah, it was a cooling ritual, and I got
Yes.
18 black mana out of it. But that was only possible because I have a green source.
Yeah.
But the most amazing part is that this deck, I have a specific line that you can steal somebody else's Underworld Bridge.
Yes.
Yeah, so usually what I do Predator's Grasp for 1 mana and 4 lives. Then I pay 1 mana and 1 red mana, cast Predator's Grasp. I cast Underworld Bridge. Then I will do Predator's Grasp again. Grab their Lion's Eye Diamond. Crack it for 3 blue, do 1 Predator's Grasp again, and grab their Brain Freeze. By the time your storm count is already at 7, so you will get 21 cards. You still have 1 mana, and you can start stealing a lot of things of them.
Yeah, you can steal the next person's Lion's Eye Diamond, and you can steal the next person's Brain Freeze.
No, I play my own Lion's Eye Diamond, so usually what I do is, for example, Predator's Grasp, grab Underworld Bridge, do another Predator's Grasp, grab their Demonic Tutor, cast Demonic Tutor, get my own LED, Lion's Eye Diamond, crack it for 3 blue, and then do a Brain Freeze. And now I have 21 cards with a LED. So you can start stealing stuff. You can do 2 more LEDs, get Thassa's Oracle, get Demonic Consultation, and get a pack of Negation, and you can just win with their deck.
That's amazing. And Crick basically enables that so efficiently because he's reducing the mana. Just basically making Predator's Grasp into 1 colorless. And 4 life, but still.
There's also a way to do it without Carrick. If you have Predator's Grasp and LED, it's a 4 mana combo. If you pay 1 colorless, 1 black, and 1 black, cast Predator's Grasp, and you crack in response your Light Sign Diamond for 3 red, you can just go and grab their own Underworld Bridge. Then you can escape another time and grab, for example, you can grab Grinding Station if they're playing it. If not, you can produce a blue. You can produce a blue and do a Brain Freeze again, and it will become a Sense Carrick combo.
When you start off the game, you draw your opening hand. What is the initial combo that you're going for? As this is still a turbo combo deck with a mid-range like resilient backup plan, like what is your initial start? What is the fastest thing this deck can do or is trying to do?
This deck has plenty of ways to win on turn 1. If I see a turn 1 hand, I will not do a mulligan. I will just try and attempt to do a turn 1 win. But if you are going forth in the pot, that can be a little bit sketchy, because you can be facing Swan Song or Fluster Song or whatever. So it will depend if you're on the play or if you're going second, third, or fourth. But for example, most of the hands with turn 1 attempts, it will involve a turn 1 carry, which it can be with a Jeweled Lotus. After that, you can play Blood Celebrant.
Amazing. Blood Celebrant is basically 1 black mana, gain a mana of any color, which basically means pay 3 life, gain a mana. It's a Treasonous Ogre.
Yes, it's a Treasonous Ogre for 0 mana. It's just too crazy.
Yeah.
For example, I have no fear. I have been doing Carrick on turn 1, Blood Celebrant, generate 4 mana, cast Peer into the Abyss, and that's pretty common.
Yeah, that's a turn 1 win, probably. Drawing into fast mana and then Aetherflux Reservoir, and then you win.
Usually, what I want to do after Peer into the Abyss, most of the time people are getting rid of Carrick in response. So let's say I will do turn 1. I can do a turn 1 land, Jeweled Lotus, Carrick into Blood Celebrant, lose 3 lives, cast Demonic Tutor, fetch 4 Peer into the Abyss, cast Peer into the Abyss, and somehow people get rid of Carrick. The next thing I will try to do is to generate 4 mana somehow, or 5 mana, and play Scourge Familiar. So now the 40 cards I have in my hand, it will become mana.
And then if you have a Grey Merchant, you can just cast that eventually and gain even more mana.
So another way you can do this is, for example, play on turn 1 Carrick. Let's say Ancient Tomb into Mana Creep, play Carrick, and then you can play Dark Ritual and cast a card like Final Parting.
What does Final Parting do? Oh, there it is. Search a library for 2 cards, put one of them in your hand and the other into your graveyard, and shuffle your library. So it's Entomb and Tutor.
Yes. So most of the time, I will put Billies in the graveyard, and I will fetch for a Reanimate. So basically, you can see Final Parting as a 3 mana, 14 lives, get Billies into play, and draw 8 cards.
That's good. That's honestly good.
Well, the other thing I was facing into a lot of counter spells. I cannot do anything about bounce spells. I don't have a way to protect Carrick. So I will just face it and I will eat it. I will just keep drawing lands and casting Carrick again and again. But playing Peer into the Abyss so early in the game usually requires a lot of energy. You need to play rituals, you need to cast this and this other stuff. And usually I was facing cards like Rhystic Study. I was facing cards like Mystic Remora. So I was feeding people, and people will draw counter spells.
Yes.
They will draw Blackened Sword, they will draw Fierce Guardianship, they will draw Force of Will. I was with some guys in Discord, and we were thinking, well, there should be a way we can win without casting many spells. And that's when we came out with Flesh Reader.
What is that? There it is. Transfigure. Sacrifice this creature, search a library for a creature card with the same converted mana cost, and put that card into play, then shuffle your library. It has a CMC 4, so it is... Wait a minute. I want to guess here. Oh, I think I see it. You're getting Necrotic Ooze into play for 3 colorless mana here. Is that what you're doing?
It's a Necrotic Ooze for 3 colorless, yes.
Yeah, that's actually pretty interesting. And you're only casting 1 spell here, which is Flesh Reader.
Yes.
What happens afterwards?
Okay, so Flesh Reader is, if you see it in a vacuum, it's a very bad card.
Yes. It is a very bad card.
So Necrotic Ooze will copy all the abilities of all your creatures in all graveyards.
Like Flesh Reader.
Yeah, like Flesh Reader. So now we can pay an extra colorless, and we can transfigure again. But this time I will get Balfour.
I was just gonna say, Balfour of the Defiled, correct?
You can see he's a 4 mana value card, just like Flesh Reader and Necrotic Ooze. And he will give +1/+1 to all the minions. And guess who is a minion in this deck?
No, Crick is a minion, right? Yeah, he's
a minion.
Horror minion. What a synergy. I think he's there for a different reason.
Horror minion, and he's also a Erection.
Yeah.
Yeah, he has 3 subtypes. Well, the thing is that Balfour will come into play, and now I can pay 6 life instead of the 3 black, exile Balfour, and all players can return their red and black creatures into play.
which will return your Flesh Ritter and your Necrotic Ooze into play.
Yes, but sometimes I get lucky enough and I can get Bloodpet, I can get the Mere Houseguard,
Ah, yeah.
I can get CDC. These are usually our cards that they used to be in the graveyard a lot of times. Well, but the thing is that, let's say there's none. So I do Flesh Reader into Necrotic Ooze. After that, I do Necrotic Ooze into Balthor. I exile Balthor and I will get Necrotic Ooze back and I will get Flesh Reader back, right? So one more time, I will spend one colorless and four lives, and I will do one transfigure one more time, and I will get Violent Thumper.
When Violent Hooper enters the battlefield, search your library for a card, put the card into your graveyard, then shuffle. And here you put Razaketh into your graveyard, correct?
Yeah, that's right.
Because here's the thing, Necrotic Ooze is in play, and you have Razaketh's ability from the graveyard.
So what you can do now, you can sacrifice Violent Thumper, you can fetch Lion's Eye Diamond, I will sacrifice Carrick and another body to get Asmodeus and Scourge Familiar. Okay, so now Scourge Familiar and Asmodeus the Archfiend is in my hand. I can crack a Lion's Eye Diamond for 3 black, and now Scourge Familiar and Asmodeus are in my graveyard.
And here's the cool thing, if you would draw a card, exile that card of your library face down instead, that is a passive ability. Necrotic Ooze doesn't have that. However, Necrotic Ooze does have 3 black, draw 7 cards.
That's right.
So you don't get the negative part, you just get the positive part. Interesting.
So right now, a Lion's Eye Diamond, it works like a discard outlet, and also gives me the 3 black mana to start drawing 7, right?
Yeah.
So I will pay 3 blacks, draw 7. Now I have 7 cards in my hand. I can discard 3 cards and draw 7 again and start creating a loop.
Because Scourge Familiar reads, choose a card, discard it, and add 1 black mana. Amazing.
That's right.
So you're gaining 7 but losing 3. In net total, you're netting plus 4 cards each activation of Asmodeus the Archfiend. I love it.
We still have only cast 1 spell, right?
2.
The Lion's Eye Diamond. Oh yeah, no. I mean after Flesh Reader. Well, so now we will be drawing 7, discard 3, drawing 7, discard 3, and at some point I will discard Chainer, Dementia Master.
Who reads, pay 3 black mana, pay 3 life, put target creature card from your graveyard onto the battlefield under your control. It's a black creature in addition to other types. And here you can reanimate Grey Merchants of Asphodel. I can't pronounce it the same way you did there. Cool part here is that Necrotic Ooze will have Shainer's ability, so you're never casting Shainer, you're just discarding it with Scourge Familiar's ability from the graveyard with Necrotic Ooze. Man, this is amazing actually. Then you use Demir Houseguard's ability to sacrifice it.
Or Razaketh.
Or Razaketh, yeah, or Razaketh.
Yeah, so you can start looping Grey Merchant of Asphodel. Well, that is one of the ways to win with Flesh Reader. It's pretty resilient. It will avoid a lot of counter spells, and also it's just one tour spell, so you will not give in much people to the chances to draw into a counter spells with Rhystic Study.
This combo only makes sense with Krick. It is too much mana. You would never really do this without Krick, I think. In any other deck, this is a Krick combo basically.
Yeah, it is. It's just too much mana. It's just too much mana.
How much mana is it with Krick actually? It is 2 colorless, 5 mana. 5 colorless mana to win. And how much life is it to win?
So the first time you cast Flesh Reader, you will pay 4 lives. Then you do the first Transfigure, you will pay another 4 lives to get Necrotic Ooze. The second time you will Transfigure and get Balthor. You have already lost 12 lives. Then you activate Balthor for 6 lives, so you have already spent 18 lives. You will get back Necrotic Ooze and Flesh Reader. And then you will do one last Transfigure to get Violent Thumper. So far, you have spent 5 mana plus 22 lives to get Necrotic Ooze, Violent Thumper into play with a Razaketh in the graveyard. So after that, you can do the line I told you with Lion's Eye Diamond.
I absolutely love this combo. It feels beautiful. What I really like about it is that it doesn't, just the way you describe it, it goes through problems. Once again, we're hearing this from someone who's played this deck, run into problems and found solutions to them. I love that. What form of game plan do you transition into if you don't get here to that dream state where you win with either of these tricks?
I was telling you before that the deck finds solutions, right? I was losing before getting to resolve my stuff because people were countering. This deck became a creator deck. Is winning basically with Great Mercanos Asphodel, is winning basically with Necrotic Ooze, with Carrick itself. So I thought, well, sometimes Carrick it gets killed. Now it costs 6 mana and 6 life, then it's 8 mana, 6 life. So you're getting pushed by very common cards like Serra Ascendant or Chrome or Gilded Drakes or whatever. So I thought, okay, next thing I need to do is to find ways to win without using lives, ways to win without using Carrick. So that's how we came out with the Underworld Bridge line.
From Praetor's Cross, basically.
Yes, another way you can win is with Buried Alive and a reanimation spell to recur Necrotic Ooze. One final combo I start playing again is Bolas Citadel with Aether Flags and Sensei's Divine in top.
And Necropotence here as well helps out the same way Sensei's top does.
The thing is with Bolas Citadel, I was running into a lot of humilities. A lot of players here in Chile, they love humility.
That's a rare card to see. It sees play sometimes in some decks, but it's a rare card to see.
Well, lately Shorikai has rising up in popularity. Well, I thought, hey, this card is wrecking my deck, and it's wrecking a lot of decks. So I thought, well, it's pretty free. Bolas Citadel can work as an engine itself. Sensei Divine in top is also a very good card for a turn 1. For all these Staxi games, you can just invest 1 mana on turn 1, and then we know the game is going to be very slow, so you can get a lot of value by each turn drawing the best of the out of 3 cards. Is super good. And finally, Aether Flags is another way you can win without a creature. So that's a way I was start to beating this humilities problem or torpor orb, which stops my Great Mercanos Asphodel. So that was a very good implement for the deck. Well, you told me about my mid-range plan. Usually my mid-range plan is having some draw spells. Black Market Connection is a very nice card. You can play it as fast as turn 1 with a mana creep. You will start drawing out of it, and people will not try to counter that. I mean, they have better things to be worried. So usually this is a spell that you can cast on early game. People will not notice.
So looking at some opening hands, what do you think? No mana, I guess it's a ship.
Yeah. Usually what I try to keep is at least 2 mana. Well, this is a god hand kind of hand.
Is this how fast do you win here? I mean, you have a turn 1 crick, right?
This hand is a very good one. You can start with Urborg. You can cast Mox Diamond and Pitch Bloodstained Mire. Cast Mana Bolt. And with 4 mana, you can cast Carrick. You will be at 34 lives. And after Carrick resolves, right away, I will cast Necroponents. Necroponents will leave us at 28 lives. After Necroponents resolves, you can cast Bloodpet because it's a blocker. It will pump your Carrick on 1 mana and it's free. And usually Necroponents in this deck, it works not like in other decks. Usually, if you cast Necroponents, you will be the target of the pot. And you need to keep lives up. So usually, I use Necroponents just to refill my hand. I'm not very aggressive with it.
So you're just going up to 7, basically. You pay life equal to get 7.
Sometimes a little bit more. I try to go up to 10 and then discard 3 because you can draw. This is a very heavy on lands deck. You will be drawing a lot of lands. So I will try to just go up to 10 and then discard 3.
And then you basically take it from there. You go into a mid-range game where you have Crick and Necropotence in play, and that's great. Yeah, that's a dominating spot state. What do you think about this one?
Oh, this hand is even better. I really like this kind of hands. Well, this hand you can see you have redundancy because the first hand, Necroponent is more likely to get countered somehow. It's a slower hand, but it will give you more chances to win. For example, about this hand, you can play a turn 2 Harlot Summoning. Harlot Summoning is a very strong card in this deck. It's super strong. For example, Harlot Summoning is an enchantment that costs 2 mana. All my creature spells will cost 2 less to cast, and my creatures will get -1/-1. Turn 1, Fetch Land. Turn 2, Harlot Summoning. And now on turn 3, I can play Carrick for 2 mana. And CDC will cost also only 1 mana.
Can I just guess? You're finding Dark Ritual, pay 2 life, get free mana, and then cast Bola Citadel with the Dark Ritual?
Well, it will depend on the pot. I will probably, with cEDH, well, it depends on what I draw between. If I draw any kind of mana ramp, and if I can do one more mana somehow, I will go for Chainer.
Ah, and you can sit and tutor forever.
Yeah, so what I will do, I will set up an engine which is very strong. I will have Carrick, I will do CDC, exploit her, grab Chainer, cast Chainer, and I will have Chainer in play. Now I can get CDC back. The second CDC will fetch Entomb. I will cast Entomb, get Great Merchant of Asphodel, try to reanimate Great Merchant of Asphodel. I will gain ton of lives. I think by the time you devotion is at least 7. 3 from Carrick, 2 from Chainer, and 2 from Great Merchant of Asphodel.
And then you just need to reanimate CDC one more time and find a sack outlet and you win. What about this hand? Well, here we have Leyline of the Void in play at the start of the game.
Yeah, I will also keep this hand. I like this kind of hands. These hands are not so fast.
They're safe.
Probably I will do a turn 1 a Leyline of the Void with a land, turn 2 Demonic Tutor, fetch. I will try to fetch a mana creep, then cast Black Market Connections, and keep going on that game. This is the kind of hands I will keep if I'm fourth in the pot, because I will need the draw engine. I have the board wipe. I have a tutor. So this is a very good hand for long games, or if you are fourth. Usually, what I try to get in the hands, I try to get at least 2 lands, a ramp, and hopefully a tutor.
So this is not a keep either, I guess.
No.
Yeah, I kind of like this.
Yeah, this is also a very strong hand. If you go for a turn 1 Ulcerate, you can get rid of a Draining Magistrate, which is not bad. Probably by turn 3, you will have 7 mana. You will have 2 from the Swamp, 4 mana from the Lake of the Dead, and 1 from the Lotus Petal. You can cast Carrick. After you cast Carrick, you have some mana left. You can do the Predator's Grasp and try to get the Underworld Breach.
We even have red mana from the Lotus Petal for that Underworld Breach.
Yes, that's right. You will want to get the Lineside Diamond to fit this. You can fit a little bit more your graveyard with the Visits the Queen. You will have a lot of cards in the graveyard. You will have the 2 Swamps. You will have Visits the Queen. You will have the Ulcerate. Also, well, another plan you can do here is to cast Carrick, do Visits the Queen. Probably you only have 1 mana, right? You have only Leg of the Dead, so you can grab Blood Celebrant, do Predator's Grasp, and grab somebody else's Demonic Tutor and play your own Peer into the Abyss. So this is a very straightforward hand. Is almost all in. When I was playing my Necrotic Ooze combos, I started playing Phyrexian Devour with Walking Ballista, but those cards, they were a little bit like weird. They were not good at all. I thought, well, how can I do a way that Necrotic Ooze can assemble itself just from a single card like Violent Tomber with Necrotic Ooze, which is a very common two combo cards. Then I came along with Razaket, and then I thought, okay, but this deck is not very heavy on creatures, so maybe this will not be a good idea. But then I started playing it, and it felt super right. And I started adding a lot of cards for it. This guy needs a lot of fuel, a lot of fodders. So I added cards that other decks cannot play for it. For example, I'm playing Mishra's Factory, I'm playing Mutavault, I'm playing Blickmod Nexus, which are manlands, but these cards are colorless, so most of the decks, they cannot afford in their mana base a colorless card, right? But for me, it's perfect. It's a creature always in the play for just 1 mana. So, and you will laugh, but I also consider this kind of stuff. A lot of times I'm playing and I have a lot of swans, I have apes, I have a lot of tokens because they keep playing swans. I have Gilded Drake all the time. Well, a lot of time my friends, they say my commander is Gilded Drake. I have a Phyrexian Altered Gilded Drake because it's funny. I mean, they're always doing that. So the thing is that Razaket in this deck is super strong. You can do some outs with so few resources. Let's say I have Carrick. Let's say I have a Swan because someone did a Swan song, or maybe have a Mutavault, whatever. So I can just sacrifice 1 creature and grab Blood Celebrant.
Yeah.
Cast Blood Celebrant Celebrant, and now let's say I can generate 3 mana. I can sacrifice Blood Celebrant, grab Great Merchant of Asphodel. So now I can cast Great Merchant, and I have a devotion of 8 black mana pips, right? So I will gain back 24 lives. Now I can sacrifice Great Merchant of Asphodel, cast Reanimate, get Blood Celebrant back. Let's say I can add another 3 or 4 mana, sacrifice Blood Celebrant, and grab Animate Death. Now my devotion is 9. I will gain 27 lives. I can sacrifice Great Merchant Asphodel, and I have 2 or 3 mana left. I can get Balthor. Cast Balthor, and now I will get back Great Merchant and Blood Celebrant. Now my devotion is 10, and so on. You will start looping these things. So you can do a lot of things with Razaket.
Yes, Cantrell, it's been amazing. I think this as a sort of an eye-opener, because sometimes you just look at how the potential is, you see what you can do, but I think what you've done is look at what you need to do afterwards as well to make it work better and perfect. This has been an amazing chat and tutorial, honestly.
Thank you for having me here, Mons. Thank you very much.
Welcome.
I hope people get excited about Carrick and becomes a little bit more popular. I really love this card. So I hope the community grows. We have a Discord.
Link in the below of the video for that.
Yeah, please join us. We love to have more ideas, and anyone who has, I don't know, the spirit of brewing or having more ways to build this deck, we are always appreciated for new ideas. We have different kind of Carricks: Storm, Doomsday, Reanimator, or even Apostles. There's a lot of different ways to build this deck. So I will be very appreciative if you can join us, please.
And thank you so much for watching. Hope you got inspired by some Black Death here. Take care, guys, and see you next time.
See you next time. Thank you. Bye.